Hey y'all, welcome to the very first episode of Cowboys First, and I want to kick my podcast off by going at Colin Cowherd, man. Um, he had some very interesting things to say about my little brother, and I just wasn't having it. Let's start off by getting to his comments on video a couple days ago.
Once again, and I like Micah Parsons. There are, but he is a bit of a splash player, and he was in college. He'll make highlight plays. He'll beat really bad corners. I mean, he's got 52 and a half.
Really bad corners. Like these are the guys that the national media, these are the guys that they pay to talk about football. He's talking about a defensive end, and he's talking about having to guard corners. Like, patience, TP. Keep it going.
Half sacks in his career. 10 and a half are against Washington. I think 5.5 are against Carolina. 4.5 are against the Giants. He's got a big chunk of his sacks on 3 awful teams.
I hate that narrative too. If you look at any pass rusher is going to eat on bad teams. The good teams are going to scheme against you. They're going to make it real hard for you to do what you do best. They're going to make sure that going to make sure to put you in positions where you can't be at your best. They're going to do everything they can to combat what you do best. So I don't think that's a fair narrative on these guys, man. If you ever watched Micah Parsons and how teams play the Dallas Cowboys, man, teams scheme up everything to stop Micah. You know, they even go from being pass first teams to being run first teams if they have the ability. You know, and it's just not fair to these guys who got to deal with all the attention for the offense to be looking at stats. You got to look at their actual impact on the game.
Until Washington hit on Jaden Daniels. So, this is like Austin Reeves. I am willing to pay A-plus money for A-plus players. There's a lot of great defensive players in this league. But I think the really smart organizations overwhelmingly stay young and cheap on defense.
Now, when he says young and cheap, Micah is 26 years old and arguably one of the best if not the best pass rusher in the league. Now, there's no one in league history that has started a career like Micah Parsons. 13 plus sacks in each of his first 4 seasons. Nobody has ever done that. Nobody. If it was that easy, everybody would do it. So how is that not an A-plus player? How is that not an A-plus player? That's an elite player. To do something that no one's ever done, all these great players that ever came through the NFL, to do something that no one's ever done in 2024, 2025, it's hard to do. That means you're a different kind of player, a different caliber of player. Let's carry on.
Chiefs and the Rams. Except unless you have an elite defensive lineman. There are 5 currently. This is it. 5 current defensive players. I just pay whatever it takes. Whatever the market bears.
Micah better be on that list.
Myles Garrett, I'm paying.
Micah better be on that list.
Jared Verse.
Oh, hell nah. 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 Bro, Jared Verse, he doesn't have a rookie season like my brother did. By all stakes and measures, yes, he had a great playoff game against the Eagles. Great. But what was he? One-on-one? Philly got great tackles. They got a great offensive line. They felt as though they could go one-on-one with a guy like Jared Verse. And I would probably felt the same way. They got great tackles. Some of the best tackles in the NFL. And he was able to get off. That's fine. We've seen Micah go off against the Eagles already. We've seen that. We've seen him get sacks on Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. We've seen that already. So for you to give him merit off of one game when we've seen Micah already do this, it might not have been in the playoffs, but he's already done this, you know, it's just crazy to me. Especially, you know, when you look at Micah's stats, when you look at Micah's stats and they read like that over the last 2 seasons, first in pressure rate, first in pass run rate, first in double team rate. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, man? What are we doing? This is an elite guy. This is a guy that you pay top money to. And he's 26 years old. You pay him in, you lock him up for a long time. A long time. As long as you possibly can. Those other guys, Myles Garrett, he's 30. TJ Watt, he's 30. You know, if it's not an Aiden Hutchinson, you know, or Jared Verse in a couple years, you're not looking to pay those guys top dollar, man. Not for long periods of time, for maybe 3 years max. Micah is here now, here to stay, man.
Seen Lawrence Taylor on the edge.
Coach Stan Lawrence Taylor is crazy to me.
He was a rookie. Wait until this year. Max Crosby, Patrick Surtain, and Chris Jones. Chris Jones, an interior.
Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Chris Jones are 3 automatics. How a Nick Bosa's not up there, how a Micah Parsons isn't up there, how a TJ Watt isn't up there is insane to me. It's insane to me. Colin, you gotta do better, bro. The fact that a corner is up here, when there should be another DN, a linebacker, anything like a Fred Warner, you know, corners. I don't want to downplay corners. Corners are obviously important. They're a great position. But the guys that can really impact every play are in your front 8. Your linebackers, your outside linebackers, your DN, your D tackles. Those guys can impact every single play. Or majority. You know, unless the team's just avoiding one side to a DN and things like that. But, you know, if I'm going to pay whoever it takes, it's going to be a guy like Fred Warner. It's going to be a guy like Micah Parsons. It's going to be a guy like Chris Jones, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt. I don't understand where Jared Verse comes in at. He's not really proving it. He's not. Let's continue.
Defensive lineman. He may not play for another 4 years, I'd pay him. And you can say, oh, what about Hendrickson with the Bengals? So-so against the run. He's 30 years old. So he's also on the edge. The Aaron Donalds and the Chris Jones that go inside, it's not a lot of those on the planet. So, and there's, you know, there's like Will Ant.
There's not a lot of Micah Parsons on the planet at all. And then he wanted to double down on his comments, y'all. He wanted to double down on his comments.
Micah Parsons, I couldn't pay him top of the market. I like it. But this week I talked about Micah Parsons. I couldn't pay him top of the market. I like it. But I don't think he has the strength of Jared Verse, the consistency of Myles Garrett. He doesn't play inside like Chris Jones. I don't think he's as...
I hate that, man. I understand he's a undersized defensive end. But people act like he didn't do things like this. You know, people act like he didn't do things like this. And if you don't remember this, I got video evidence. Don't worry about it.
Watch this. Watch what Parsons does here to McGlinchey. Looks like Bruce just throws McGlinchey on his back with that right hand.
Like, Colin, I can dispute anything you're saying, man. Like, if you're gonna come with facts, come with things that are real. Micah is one of, if not the best defensive player in the league. He's one of the faces of the NFL. If you look around Cowboy Stadium on game day, you see more 11s than anything. That's the value that he brings to this franchise. He deserves every penny that he's going to get. Top of the market. He deserves to be top of the market. He deserves to reset the market. And I really feel as though, regardless of when TJ Watt signs, Mike is going to come ahead regardless, because he's going to actually be able to reset the market. You know, he has the age, he has the numbers, and he's just a generational talent to do so, to really reset it and make it $5, maybe $10 million more than the next guy got, the guy under him got, and everybody else is going to have to fall under that. He could have that generational type money. He should have that generational type money. And guys want to talk about playoffs. When you talk about playoffs, the same thing I said earlier, man. When you're getting top-notch attention, when the offense lines up and they got to point you out every play, and they're running their offense based off of where you're at, where you're lined up at, if they're going to double team you, if they're going to chip you, you're getting the offense's full attention. They're usually running their plays away from you and all of that. So it's hard to really combat that with numbers. You can't put numbers on a guy like that. You got to put impact. What is his impact? What is Micah's impact? Micah's impact last year since coming back from injury. That's Micah's impact. When he's on the field and he's playing, look what the Dallas Cowboys defense look like. Whether he's getting the sacks or not, look what the Cowboys defense look like. You can't make these numbers up. Y'all seen what it was like when Micah missed those 5 games. What the defense looked like. It was horrid. No pass rush. Teams were able to do whatever they want. Run, pass, whatever. You know? It's just bad. Then they want to talk playoffs. Top defensive guys in the playoffs don't do well. Myles Garrett, 3 games, 1 sack. TJ Watt, 4 games, 1 sack, 1 fumble. Recovery, not even a forced fumble recovery. You know, when you're the offense's main focus, it's hard for you to be great. Other guys have to go be great. Other guys got to step up. But you pay guys like Micah Parsons, and you pay them top of the money, top market value. You pay them whatever it takes. Like Colin said, whatever it takes, Micah Parsons should have no doubt been in that. That's more Dallas Cowboy hate for y'all, man. Check back in for the next episode of Cowboys First. Peace.